Hey everyone, welcome to Solo Q tip of the day number 17. So today I'm going to be covering raptors, farming raptor camps. So the way I'm going to do this video is have the first portion of it talking about when you should take raptors and the conditions that need to be met and things that you need to think about. And then the second half of it, I'll talk about when not to take raptors and the conditions you need to meet, etc. And then what I'm going to do is show you a bunch of differing examples within games that I've played and the things that you have to think about in order to make the correct decision. So first of all, in this first example here, you'll hear me go over a few overarching concepts such as tempo, speed, and sacrifice. So first of all, taking raptors, the first condition that you need to already be thinking about, and again, whether or not you want to be looking to get them, is the speed of taking raptors on your mid lane champion. So if you're playing champions like Rise, Nocturne mid, maybe even Talon when you have Tiamat, Syndra's not too bad. These type of champions, taking Raptors, the speed of them is a lot quicker, so there's going to be a lot more opportunities for you to take Raptors. So here in this example, I'm versing Kiana, and she's back in base. And something you need to think about here. Taking Raptors isn't just something you do for free. It's always a sacrifice, whether or not you're sacrificing roaming potential, you're sacrificing a potential dive, you're sacrificing a tempo reset, you're sacrificing getting deep vision. You're always sacrificing something, or lane control. So here in this example here, this is actually one of the few examples, rare examples, where there's really not much I'm giving up because I'm able to push out the wave. My enemy mid laner based. I have really good tempo. So the first thing I'm thinking of now is, okay, if the jungler is to show up here, how likely is it that I can die? And so I'm versing a Kindred who's 0-3 and I have Tabi, so I know I'm completely safe right now. So this is the first thing I'm thinking about. Second thing, is there a roam potential? I look top and my top lane is nearly dead, so there's no really roams here, and bot's just coming back on the map, so there's nowhere for me to really roam. Next, how fast is it for me to get the Raptor camp? Well, I'm Rise. I can get the Raptor camp pretty fast, right? So I can just get it, come back, and I'm not going to give up any lane control. And what I mean by lane control is if the enemy mid laner comes back, is he going to be able to push out, get the next wave, and be able to do something himself? Highly doubt it, since there's a lot of waves he has to react to here, and I'm really fast. So I walk up here, and this is a perfect, I see the enemy jungle here, so this is a perfect opportunity. I can't die to the enemy jungler. There's no real roams to get off, and I'm not giving any control to the enemy laner here because I'm going to be back in time in mid lane. So this is what we call a pretty stock standard taking of the Raptor camp. So this next one here is just a few seconds after. I end up getting pushed in because I have to respect a little because Pyke was missing this entire time. And then I see them kill Renekton top. So I'm thinking, all right, well, the play's over top side. I know Kiana lent bot side. Nothing else is going to happen here. So this is, again, think about the conditions need to be met. Is the wave crashing mid? Which is crucial, very important information. If the wave's crashing mid already, I shouldn't be looking to get Raptors, because that means if the enemy mid laner shows up, he's going to be able to get the push on the wave and do something. But look, the wave's ages away. The next thing is the jungle's on top side. The next thing is that I can't really roam bot here because they're just here and there's no way we can dive. So there's really not much else for me to do. And remember, taking Raptors is a luxury. And then I end up hovering a little bit thinking that a play was going to happen, but they end up killing him. So this is a perfect opportunity for me to clean up Raptors here. And there was actually only 2, but in here, this would have been a great opportunity to get Raptors. Again, this came at a sacrifice though. Here, because I hesitated and didn't go straight away, Kiana was able to get onto the wave like this. And notice here, if I'm versing another champion, they may have been able to clear this and roam and pressure another lane or do something. But given that Kiana's wave clear at this point of the time, she hasn't got Tiamat, is not that strong, that's not something that I don't need to think about as often. So next example I want to show you here in this game is the enemy mid laner I push mid out here, and the enemy mid laner decides to do this roam, and I can't really do anything. I told them to back off. He walked over wards. I don't have ultimate or TP, so I can't really respond here. So a lot of the time, your next best option is to hard push. So in these specific situations, this is how you punish the most. You get the tower, whether it's plates or not. And what you can do, if you feel like you can't get any more, you can lean onto the top side and get Raptors on the way through. And look at the conditions that this meets. I'm not giving any control to the the mid laner because he's already made his play and we already know where he is. I know the jungler's bot side, so I can't die here. There's no real other play for me to do since I've already got my tower and I can't really respond to bot lane since the play's been done and people have died. So this is a perfect example of being able to punish to the extreme. I'm not only taking a tower, but I'm taking their whole topside camps here. And I actually ended up clearing a ward. And I don't think I had a ward myself, so it would have been a great opportunity for me to get a deep ward as well here. So notice in these examples how taking the raptor camp isn't the first thing in my mind. It's like, okay, well, I can't roam. I can't really dive them. I can't look to dive side lanes. I can't back up my jungler to make an invade. It's like the last thing on my mind here because, again, it's a very, very selfish act. You're not impacting the map. You're just making yourself stronger. So there's definitely something to think about. Let's take a look at one more example. So with this next example here, I'm actually quite far ahead. I'm 107 CS to 60. I'm versing a Twisted Fate, and I see the enemy jungler topside. So I'm able to actually get the wave in here. And notice how here my first response isn't to actually go for raptors. It's to keep Twisted Fate pushed in because I don't want him to be able to exert any pressure on the map. And then next, my initial reaction is to roam bot side. It isn't to get raptors because, again, roaming and impacting other sides of the map is way more important than getting raptors. And now here, because I'm on my way back to lane, the other thing I'm thinking about before I go for this raptor camp is how far is the wave before it crashes in mid? Because, again, I don't want to give TF the luxury of pushing out and being able to exert his pressure on the map or clearing vision or getting deep vision or backing up his jungler. I want to keep him pinned as much under tower as possible. And so here, I'm able to just clear the small raptor camps here because I know that if I take my time to get this one here, it's both going to chunk out my mana completely, and also the main reason is that if I spend time getting this big raptor camp here, then the wave's going to crash, and then Twisted Fate's going to be able to exert some pressure on the map here. And then because I come back here, I force him off the wave, and yeah, it's a lot. I'm punishing the opponent a lot more because I'm thinking about the broader map. I'm not just thinking about my 1v1. Yes, if I allow TF, it's not going to change my 1v1, but it may change how he can pressure the rest of the map. Because again, getting raptor camps at the end of the day, every action in the game is to be able to increase your chances of winning, not increase the chances of winning your lane. It's all about winning the game, and so that's a very important distinction. So next, we're going to actually go into when not to do raptors. So now I'm going to start to cover when not to do raptors. So something to think about here, I see both the junglers on top side here, and I can't really back him up, so I end up deciding to lean onto the bot side here to clear this pink ward. And you may ask here, oh, well, this is a perfect opportunity, you know, he has to react to this wave under tower. You can at least maybe QWE these small raptor camps to get all the small raptors here. You can't roam. You don't need to back up your jungler. This is a perfect opportunity. No, and the reason something that you also have to think about when going for raptors is resources. This is still early game. It's 6 minutes in. I have 2 corrupting pots. I'm only around, I've got a third of my mana pool. If I choose to use all my mana on this raptor camp, yes, it might make me a little bit stronger and get a little bit more farm. But in the grand scheme of things, I'm actually going to have to give up quite a bit of pressure in lane, or at least use both my corrupting pots just for mana, because I know that I'm going to have to I'm most likely going to have to give up lane pressure because he's just come out of base with full mana, and it's actually going to screw me over pretty hard. So the next thing that you need to think about in order to do raptors, especially in the early game, is mana pool. Don't just get carried away with, oh, the raptors are up and I know the jungler's not here and I can't roam, I should just do it. No, mana is super, super important because, again, you need to think about my character and how I can influence the entire map. And if I allow the enemy mid laner to get push on mid and move, then and allow him to get tempo on me, it's going to be very difficult for me to control him and stop him from roaming. I'm just leaning into the bot river here to help my team get dragon. And you may ask, well, here, actually, we knew that Twisted Fate was coming out of base. I didn't know where from. He ended up actually trying to go this detour path to maybe look for a gank bot, but I didn't know this at the time. So I thought he was going to be coming straight out of base. And if we look at these waves, it's pretty much ready to crash. There's no big wave under tower that he needs to react to. The waves are about to crash here. And because, again, when you're playing in mid lane and you're ahead, especially when you're ahead, this is only when you're ahead, you really want to keep pressure on your opponent. You don't want to give them room to clear pink wards, back up their jungler, and especially champions that can roam, you want to pin them under tower. So here, I choose not to do these raptors here purely because I know that if I do these raptors and TF shows on this wave, he can clear this wave really, really quickly with a Q and a red card and a few autos. And then I'm both going to be late to the lane. He can lean topside, look to potentially ultimate top or ultimate somewhere, or even get deep vision on topside. And I can't stop him from doing that. Otherwise, I'm going to miss a lot of CS. So the next thing you need to think about is how much room are you willing to give the enemy? And in some circumstances, giving someone, a bit of time, maybe like an Orianna is not going to be the end of the world. But even then, you don't want to give someone the ability to control vision in the river, because that is so big for the game state, and it screws over your jungler, it screws over your side laners, and it just makes the game a lot harder. So remember, we're thinking about the entire game here, not just the lane itself. So let me look over one more example. So with this last example here for when not to take Raptors, I'm actually going to show you another example, but playing Rise. So I'm actually really far up ahead. I've over my Kiana counterpart. I've come back with TP. I've TP'd back in. I've got my tier. And I know that there's no really opportunity for me to roam. There's no real opportunity for me to help the jungler. He's just clearing his buffs in the early game. I can't go bot side. I don't know where. I thought Nidalee was on the enemy. Sorry, Kindred was on bot side somewhere. I have no idea what's going on. So here I decide to walk up and actually get some deep vision. And then I'm thinking, well, a lot of risers in this position will actually spend their mana getting this Raptor camp. But this is where I feel like it's a mistake. Since I've come back and I've just used my teleport, I'm in a position now to actually keep Kiana pinned and keep a lot of pressure on Kiana at this point of the game, which is really strong. But if I choose to use all my mana on this Raptor camp, that's actually going to give both, yes, the timing, not so much because I can get the Raptor camp so quickly, or at least just the small ones. But again, when you're ahead, you want to use your mana and use your lane control to keep the enemy pinned in lane where they can't get vision, they can't back up their jungler, they can't impact the map, and especially a roaming-esque champion like Kiana. So here, if I were to use all my mana on here, it's going to allow Kiana to shove a little bit. It's going to give her a little room. It's going to allow me. It's actually going to make me extremely vulnerable because I'm not going to be able to heavy trade on Kiana when she trades onto me because I'm not going to have much mana. And it's going to put me in a really awkward position not having teleport and the ability to come back with a refresh mana source. So I actually choose not to. And what this allows me to do is, again, just keep Kiana pinned on a tower, allow me to spam my abilities, and win my lane pretty hard. So this is the other thing you need to, just to reiterate, you really need to be thinking about not just your lane, you need to be thinking about how your lane can translate, and the loss of pressure can translate to the rest of the map. So remember, to summarize here, a few of the key concepts, you want to be thinking about how, a few things, obviously mana and resources, the speed it takes to get your Raptor camps, what else you could be doing instead of doing Raptor camps. Could you be helping your jungler? Could you be roaming to sides? Could you be looking to invade somewhere? Could you be getting a reset? There's so many different things you could be doing, and these are all a lot more important than getting Raptors. Raptors is a luxury, and always remember that. So hopefully this video helps. Try it out in your own game, some of these principles. Cheers. Thanks for watching.